Well, welcome back everybody to Motorsport Manager and the single-seater playthrough then. And we got just 3 races to go then in this season. The season that we could have lost our job, but we've somehow held on. Last time out was a tricky race, but Munro still managed to get some points out of it. He got the fastest lap of the race as well, which means we got 3 points out of it. And Ayre, of course, crashed out. And from that crash, she has a cracked rib. So I think I'm going to go ahead and let Caroline Ann take over the driver's seat for this one weekend, see how she gets on as a reserve. Yeah, because it's just over 2 weeks till the race, and Ayre still won't be healed by then. I want to see how our reserve gets on as well. Be interesting to see how she does up against Munro. A lot of you pointed out that Munro has come on leaps and bounds this season and is now up to 3 stars, so it's definitely worth keeping on and it's coming along nicely. But it's just out of interest, I want to see how Ayre does in a race seat, and I feel we can afford her one race. So we're still holding on to second place. We've got a 9-point advantage now over Esprit. Obviously we want to make sure we hold on to that second place, so hopefully we don't miss Ayre too much this weekend, and when she's back fighting fit for the final 2 rounds, if we need to make up ground, hopefully she'll be there to do that. But let's get on with today's episode anyway. Pit crew okay. We did our fastest pit stop of the year, but to be fair, it depends how much fuel you're putting in and whatnot. There's Ayre. You see, it's quite a big hit to her cornering and her fitness. So I want to let her recover and also just see how Caroline Ann gets on. So we did scout Surikov last time. And, well, there's the reason why he's absolutely bossing this Formula 2 season. He has had 5 seasons in the WMC. 4 seasons, correction. And he had 9 wins to his name in that. So he is one of the 4 best drivers in this game, really, on the looks of things. And it's the cost that worries me. His contract is running down. And his cost is just going to be astronomical in comparison to maybe replacing Ayre. Especially when Munro is so cheap and is still doing a decent job. I do wonder if we need, that one great driver to push us through. But we'll make that decision come the end of the season. I think I'm leaning on the side of keeping these 2 drivers. The only thing that makes me maybe think, actually that's what I was going to look at. What is Surikov's marketing? It's pretty good, so it would be an improvement and probably be enough to get us into the 5-star level of sponsors, because that's where Ayre is letting the side down at the moment. But we'll think about it come the end of the year. Now, as you guys know, we're not going to develop the car anymore this season, so it's just about improving the car we have as much as we can. At the moment we're improving the suspension and the brakes in terms of performance, so we'll carry on that path, I think. And the performance on the brakes and the rear wing have still got a little way to go. So we'll keep everything as is and get the most out of this car without spending another $1 this season. Or pound, actually. It's quite nice to have an option to actually have pounds in a game rather than dollars all the time. But yeah, we just want to keep going, keep trying to get a few points out of the races if we can. And obviously hold on to that second place. And next year, if we don't take on Surikov, hopefully he will either get promoted or get moved elsewhere, because he's clearly the class of the field. And I feel whatever car you put him in this league, he's probably going to win the championship. And that doesn't do us any good for the team's championship. So if we want to win and get promoted to the WMC, we are really going to need Surikov out of the way. So yeah, we'll have to see how next season starts on. Obviously, I want to try and improve the facilities before we go up to the WMC. But it depends at what cost it's going to take to get up to the WMC, isn't it? So we're going to leave Ayre at home. I mean, she's got a week and 2 days to go, but obviously those negative traits are still at their maximum until she's fit. So I think, yeah, let's put Monroe and Caroline Ayre in the cart and see how they get on, shall we? So we should be able to use the 2 new brakes now. We are. And so Ayre on here will actually be an Ayre. So I think we will try and give the better parts to Monroe if we can. So let's switch this back around the opposite way for most of the parts, because of course we've been giving the Ayre the better car in general. So let's give Monroe the best car he can for this weekend. Obviously it doesn't give Caroline Ayre. I really need to find a way of saying that. I think it's Ayre, whatever. It doesn't give her the best shot against Monroe, but it also means if she beats him, it's quite an impressive performance. So we've got quite a lot of rain forecast for the weekend. We generally do well when there's changeable conditions, so that's a positive. Be a clear practice session and then some rain about for qualifying and even more for the race. So as per usual, I shall get qualifying underway and be back with you guys. I'll get practice underway even. You can tell it's been a while. And be back with you for qualifying. Right, into qualifying we go then. It was a nice dry practice session. We got lots of practice in. Pretty good setups for the pair of them. It is very wet at the beginning of practice though. Qualifying though. We're going to send both of them out on the intermediates. I think it's the right tyre to be on at the moment. But generally the pattern of these sessions is that it will dry out at some point. And obviously we need to make sure we're out on track for the optimal time. So we need to be ready to maybe pull these guys in if it looks like it's going to dry out and then start raining again. It's a bit too early to tell. Looks like it's going to dry off completely, but it might rain again. But we may as well let them finish their lap and come back in. So Ayre is first over the line then with a 1:14.4. Monroe a 1:13.9. So half a second between the pair of them. So as expected, a bit of a gap in performance between the two of them, but it's not too bad from Ayre for a first full race weekend. So we'll have to wait and see. Times aren't looking too competitive at the moment though, to be fair. But it's going to be all about getting in that optimal lap on the dry tyres. Now it's a bit of a game of chicken here. Do we wait and hope that it continues to stay dry, or do we send them now in the presumption that it might rain again? It looks like it might rain again, so I'm going to send them early. This could hurt us in terms of ultimate time. But if it starts raining again, then we get the lap in just in time. Right, see, because those temperatures are going back down, it suggests to me it's going to rain right at the end of the session. And hopefully it does, because it means then we don't lose too much time in terms of ultimate pace. If it doesn't rain, then we're definitely not going to be as quick as the guys going out right at the end of the session. Are we going to be lucky here? I don't think we are. I think it would have stayed dry, in which case we probably could have gone out right at the end of the session. But we'll see how they get on anyway. The track is basically dry, so hopefully they can still get in some half decent times. But we're not looking very competitive at all so far this weekend. And this was always the risk. Ayre has been our real breadwinner in terms of... Why is Ayre coming in? What are you doing, Ayre? And there is rain at the end of the session. Why did she just come in? Did I tell her to come in? Was I an idiot and accidentally boxed her? Right. I don't really want to use another set of ultras, but I guess we're going to have to. And she should get round in time, but it's going to be wet right at the very end of the session. That's annoying. That's happened before, and I didn't find out before whether that was my fault or not. And I don't know this time. Monroe did improve quite a bit, but obviously we still got everybody else to finish their laps. on the ultras. A lot of those times are still intermediate times, so I'd expect Monroe to fall down quite a bit in that order. And the rain has started up once again, so it's unlikely Ayre is going to find a massive improvement here, but she should still be quicker than her time on the intermediates. Well, it's pretty heavy now at the end of the session, so this may well be slower. Here she comes across the line then. She improves, but it's not good enough to improve from 20th. That's a pretty, that's awful. That's not a good qualifying at all from our two drivers there. We mucked up a bit. We could have sent Monroe out a bit later, and Ayre, for whatever reason, came back into the pits, so it's disappointing. Championship leader Surakov's only 5th, but as we know, he can very easily recover that during the race. And this can be a tricky one for us, I think. Fortunately, I think it's going to be pretty wet and pretty changeable conditions. So, although saying that, it's of course it is. It's dry at the beginning of the session. Great. And there's no rain on the horizon then. So this could be a pretty painful race. But we'll see what we can do. We'll go super soft and race trim. Now 13 laps is the maximum fuel. Soft tyres are not going to be much use here then, so we'll go for the super softs to start with on both cars and see how we get on, I guess. We actually got a 99% setup there with some last minute improvements from Monroe, so he's got everything he needs to fight. He's got the best car. Oh, I forgot, we're still not allowed to tell Monroe what to do. This could be a disaster, this race. Let's hope not. Well, let's see how it goes, shall we? We'll do our best. And hopefully, we'll be saved by some rain late on in the session. And we can maybe steal a march on people if we're not too far behind by that point. Right, here we go then. 3 races to go. And we are underway. Not exactly an aggressive start from our drivers. 16th and 20th still, and Monroe's just dropped to 17th. I am making a move now past Rodriguez and Narhez up into 17th. So it's going to be all about the long game, this one. And hopefully making the right strategy calls when the rain does come. So let's knock down to neutral and high. Of course we can't tell Monroe what to do, so he's just going to do his own thing and probably destroy the tyres. But look, they got to learn, these kids. It's like, oh, stop telling me what to do, I know what I'm doing. Well, we'll see if you really do know what you're doing, Monroe. You're up to 14th though, making some good progress through the field. Temperatures are pretty low, so tyre life should be okay. Even with Monroe being very aggressive on the tyres there, they're still keeping good temperature and not overheating, so shouldn't be too bad on the tyres, this one. It's going to be all about the strategy if that rain does come, and I'll be pretty irritated if it doesn't, considering it said that there's going to be heavy rain for the race. So Monroe continuing to make some good progress. Ayre has picked up 1 position up to 17th. If she can get past the rest of those soft tyre runners, that will be beneficial, but she's actually falling back at the moment. Monroe is struggling to get past Latienne, and actually coming under pressure from John Statier now. So we have got a lot of the top 8 and Greben Skirikov. God, some of these names, Christ, I swear they do it just to piss me off. They're all on the ultra soft, so in an ideal world, the rain would start coming down somewhere between the life of the ultra softs and the super softs. But I doubt we're going to be that lucky this time. Generally, in this game, when it's forecast heavy rain and it's not there for the beginning half of the race, it comes right at the end. So we're probably going to have to be very patient on this one. We're going to go on to the super softs again after this. And theoretically, they could get us to the end of the race on tyre life, but not on fuel. So we're going to have to put the super softs on and hope the rain comes before we run out of fuel, around about lap 25-26. So Monroe is saving fuel for some reason. Guess we're just going to have to let him do what he wants, but he doesn't... The AI don't understand when they control it that they think, oh no, I've got 20 odd laps to do. I've only got 5 laps of fuel, better save fuel. No, you're going to pit. It's alright, we can pit for fuel. It really annoys me. And it means that Monroe should be making good progress at this point, and he's just not, because he's not pushing. And those guys around him on the soft tyres are going to start coming back at him once these super softs start running out of life. All the ultra soft guys should be pitting pretty soon. So they're probably going to come straight back into this traffic, and that could give us a good chance to move forward. I think we can actually probably push on these super softs because we're really not getting any temperature. And there is that rain then. It looks like it's going to be just after lap 16 as the temperatures start coming down. So I wonder if we maybe steal a march on some people here by making an early stop. I think we're going to try that. I think we're going to try it with Monroe next time around, because I think that rain is definitely the problem. The problem is the temperature's coming down, but the rain might not be there till lap 20 odd, and if we pit now and we miss the rain, then that's going to be our fault. So let's try and hang it out to the end of the tyre life of these super softs, and possibly if we can see the rain on the radar, we could go on to the ultra softs. I just can't risk running out of tyres, that's the problem. I think we're going to go on super softs for Monroe. We'll fill the car up and send him back on his way, and then we'll bring Ayre in the following lap and maybe go on to the ultra softs. We'll split the strategies here and see if it pays off for Ayre on the ultra softs. At the moment we're a long way from points, unless we steal a pit stop on these guys behind, which we might do if their ultra softs run out, because everybody that was on the ultra softs to begin with has gone back onto them. It seems like a pretty bad strategy call to, as far as I'm concerned, if they want to last to the race. So we still might have a pit stop advantage on half the field here, and that's probably going to be our only chance at points. Remember, we have to be in the top 6 in this. Oh, there's a mistake in the refueling. Monroe has lost 4 seconds and gone to the rear of the field then. Harrison Gordon, the man to blame. Not great. Not great. So we'll bring in Ayre this time around. She's losing so much time on those super softs, and that's destroyed her race, and she's going to go to the back of the field as well, I'd imagine here. Even if it's a perfect pit stop, she's still going to come back out a long way behind Monroe. Yeah, so that's hurt us. We should have pitted a lap earlier with both cars there, really. But we can see rain on the radar now. So let's get on with it. Let's get Ayre pushing and see if she can catch the back of the field before the rain comes. Most of the field now on ultra soft tyres then, so Monroe is the only one that's not. But he's decided that he's going to go out from the pits and just destroy the tyres instantly, which is a good strategy, I feel. Good job, Monroe. God, I can't wait till we can control him again. But yeah, the rain looks like around about lap 20 then, so both cars should have plenty of tyres left before then, so we can probably use up a bit of these ultra softs. Yeah, don't complain to me, Monroe. Just back off. You're the one in control of your own destiny here, mate. I don't know what he's doing, but he's making okay progress. He's got past Stranby and onto the back of Shah. Now, how heavy is this rain going to be? I'm wondering if we're going to see both the intermediate and the wet tyres before the end of the race. Yeah, all those ultra soft runners have now had to come in again then. So we have stolen a pit stop here. But because our pit stops were so bad and so late, I feel we've already lost out on the chance of points. And all those guys have put another set of used Ultra Softs on, it looks like. So they're opting for the used tyres rather than a new set of Super Softs, which, again, each to their own, but it means they're not going to be as quick out of the pits as I maybe thought. And I should be able to hold our own in that group. Munro is at the head of this field. Still quite a way away from Shah. Now, are the rest of these guys going to pit? Yeah, a few of them coming in now. I would expect to see them put on the intermediates, maybe. Yep, Surakov's gone for the inters way too early. So we've got a good opportunity to make up some time here. And that's put Munro up to 10th, and Ayre is still only 15th. Surakov came back out in 5th, having already pitted, but onto the intermediates. So we've still got a little while till that rain. And hopefully we'll be able to take the intermediates to the end, whereas those guys that have already pitted are taking a good chunk of life out of them already, and hopefully shouldn't be able to get to the end of the race. He's sensing the theme of this episode. Just hoping. Just theoretical hope is the only thing we've got to hold on to this weekend, I think. So, only 5 seconds between our drivers, so it's not too bad from them, considering. Now, we're going to have to... I feel the optimal lap is next lap, but because we can't stack them, I think we're going to have to bring in Ayre this lap. And we can only put 12.5 laps of fuel in, which isn't great, but we'll only have 12 laps to go afterwards, so we should be okay here. Suspension not looking great, but hopefully it should get us to the end of the race. And we'll bring Munro in next time around then for some inters. And, well, let's hope Munro can manage the fuel till the end. And the tyres. In a normal situation, he'd be absolutely fine. But managing his own race and master of his own destiny, I worry a little bit. Right, Ayre comes back out in 19th then. She has got quicker tyres than those guys around her. We'll see how much progress she can make here. Hopefully Munro would have got exactly the right lap. And we'll be able to make up some time here. Everybody else behind him coming in as well. So he should make up some time. And some places. Munro's going to come back out in 10th then. And that is net 10th. Nobody else still to stop apart from Latienne, who might even come back out behind us. So we're back in the hunt for points here with Munro. He's got a lot of work to do. A lot of work. We've got people like John Stottier and McLeod that might have to make a second stop onto another set of inters though. So we've got that on our side. Tyre temp's not looking great for Ayre, so we're going to push. Munro is really giving this car a battering. And he's made a mistake. He's gone wide. And he's back to 14th. Not going great this race. We're struggling a bit here. How's the championship looking at this stage? At the moment, we're still on target to hold on to second. Esprit are only scoring 3 points as it stands. The big movers, MRT of Valbuna, look to be adding 6 points to their tally, and they're no danger to us. So at the moment, we look okay. But I think McLeod is one of those drivers. And he's going to have to stop again. As is John Stottier, so the points might change around a bit. Munro is locked in a massive battle here. He needs to try and get through this traffic, because I feel he's got a quicker car than those guys ahead. But once again, complaining about the tyre temperatures. That's your fault, mate. Don't look at me. Suspension down 36%, 35% for the rear wing for Munro. Need to start looking after that car, but also needs to make some progress, because unless we're in the points, then there's very little to gain from anywhere between 7th and 20th. So we may as well go big or go home here. We've got quite a lot of tyre life left for Ayre. I would start pushing. My slight worry is the suspension, but as I said, I don't really see much to lose in this, especially with her 19th. So she might as well start making some progress. A lot of background noise all of a sudden in this. Not quite sure what that is. Hopefully that didn't annoy you guys too much. Right, Monroe's making some decent progress. McLeod and Johnsdottir have made their stops now, so that's put Monroe up to 10th. 9th for someone else comes into the pits. 8th then, as 2 more stops are made. So we can see points. Ayre up to 13th. So there is an outside chance of Monroe sneaking into the points here. He's cruising up to the back of Cruz. Okay. Ayre's just lost the place out to Johnsdottir. That's the problem. McLeod, Johnsdottir and these 4 guys at the back are going to be incredibly quick coming through on fresh tyres. So if Monroe is going to make a bid for points, he needs to get past Cruz quickly here. I'm a little worried about our tyres lasting, actually. I'm going to back off with Ayre and just get those temperatures back down. We haven't managed that very well. 3 laps to go, we should be okay. But it hasn't given us enough to play with at this point as I'd hoped. And McLeod has now got past Stramby, so McLeod is going to be cruising up to the back of Monroe very quickly here. Monroe's rear wing down to 27, 33 and 36 for rear wing suspension for Ayre. We should be okay. It's not going to make the end of this race all that aggressive from our point of view. Right, tyre temps a little bit back under control for Ayre, so we'll go back to neutral. Monroe is going to continue destroying them. So we just got to trust in him here. We've got 2 laps left to go. He's used all his fuel, so he's actually backing up on fuel here. He's gone up to 7th because Cruz has made a stop. Larson is 6 seconds down the road. I don't think this is going to happen for us. Monroe's going to give it everything, I'm sure, but if anything, we're probably going to lose out to McLeod and Johnsdottir in the latter stages of this lap to make any kind of progress forward. Let's push for Ayre. Why not? She's 13th. What is there to lose at this point? And I think it's going to be an incredibly disappointing race. We worked hard for that, and we're not going to get any reward. Monroe crossed the line, P7th, P7. Ayre is 13th on her debut. Hasn't exactly covered herself in shame. That's not a bad performance considering she's only 10 seconds behind her teammate. And she held off some quick drivers at the end. But we were lacking a bit in strategy, and we're still lacking a bit in car pace there, and we were missing a star driver. And that just shows you, I think, the real difference that someone like Ayre can make, because I feel that's the kind of race she could have easily got some points out of, as opposed to Monroe. If Monroe can finish 7th, then Ayre can very easily finish a few places up from that. It's a good performance from Monroe. As a lot of you pointed out, and as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, he's come on a lot this season. And I'm really hoping he can push on, and if we do keep Ayre alongside him, he can start to challenge her towards the end of next year. If we do replace Ayre with a star driver, then Monroe will be a good backup to have to score some decent points. Surikov is actually demoted 4 places. Apparently they finally found out why Kirov are winning everything. Got some illegal parts on the car, there we go. But he gets a bonus, of course he does, for fastest lap. And that's some big points. Esprit score a couple. Thornton with the win might be a bit of a danger. We'll find out on the next screen, of course. So Ayre and Monroe stay 5th and 6th. And Caroline Ann doesn't score, so stays at the bottom, or goes onto the board at the bottom of the championship. In terms of the constructors, as I thought, that win for Thornton does bring us a new challenger. And moves Thornton only 4 points behind us now. Esprit closed the gap a little bit to just 7 points, and then it's just 9 points back to Ruiz. So 2 races to go. There's a lot that could still happen in this one. And we're going to have to fight hard in the final 2 races to hold on to this 2nd place. I'm not sure the chairman's going to be too happy with this result, but hopefully, now that we've passed the event, she's not going to stick another ultimatum on us this late in the season. Because I don't think I could take that. Just for the stress levels. Some good improvements to Monroe. Some big improvements for Ayre then. And it shows the benefit of giving a driver even just 1 race in a season. They make some leaps and bounds. They're the kind of gains that would take almost a season of practice. Just practice sessions or just turning up for the race weekend as a reserve driver to gain. So it was definitely worth putting her in. Some small gains for Ayre, and Ayre should hopefully be recovered for next time. And we start to pull that money for next year then. So most of it's going to be coming from the chairman's payments and the prize money. But anything extra we can get in the bank is going to help us out next year, I feel. So it's not a bad race. Obviously, we didn't get some points, but we're still holding on to 2nd. That was always going to be a weak weekend without Ayre in the car. I feel Caroline Ann has done a fairly good job in her debut. And is going to be worth keeping as a reserve, I think, because she's a potential future star in this championship at least. And Monroe, very unlucky to miss out on a point. To be fair, considering where the pace of the car was all weekend, he did a great job to get 7th, and was unlucky to miss out on points. I feel we need the old point system back, but I also feel that would probably have been to our detriment this season. Because I think a lot of other teams that have just missed out on points, probably on more occasions than us. So, hey, we'll keep where it is, and hopefully next season we won't be struggling like this. But it's our car. We know where the problems are. And we really need to continue to make big strides next season if we're going to consider challenging for the title. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, don't hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, you can subscribe as well. Expect the house playthrough tomorrow. I think this is coming out on Monday, so that will come out on Tuesday. And these should be getting a bit more regular now. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys are well. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again next time.